Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Billy Spitfire Unlimited.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs Podcast. We're thrilled to death that you are listening to our little show here in Columbus, Ohio, where we had a beautiful sunny day. 2 in a row, actually. That's outstanding.
Yeah. It's a little warm today.
It's a little, now we're going to complain about the weather. We've got Billy joining us because, first of all, Billy's a great guy. We love Billy. But he was part and parcel to an experience that we together got to have last week. Was it last week? It was last week.
Yeah,
I think it was last week.
Yeah, something like that.
And that had to do with one of the guest on our show. Guess who are you?
I am Jack Bates, back again for more punishment on your podcast.
I'm glad you realized that.
Yes, and Jack, tell the lovely folks at home what you do.
So I am a bass player. I play with my dad, Peter Hook, in his band Peter Hook and The Lightand, and I also play with Smashing Pumpkins.
Boy, Jack is in demand, big time. Yes. We had Peter Hook and the Light in town last week, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the new Hooky bass series that is through Eastwood, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Talk about the gear that Jack's playing now and how that differs from Smashing Pumpkins. I always think that's really interesting whenever we have somebody that's in 2 bands, like how do you break up the rigs? And then, whatever else Jack would like to talk about, the world he's seeing and such.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
All good with me.
Perfect. Here we go. Tony.
Yes?
We're going to...
I have an announcement.
You do? I do too.
I have let me go first.
Okay, go.
Just in case it's the same one.
Yes.
So, as I was perusing the news feeds coming from the internets, I noticed that there is a caption called "Lost to the Future."
Yes, I saw that in force yesterday. I was like, okay, all right.
Gibson must have had the PR police out because so Gibson and Michael J. Fox are on the hunt for the it's either a 60 or 61 ES-345 that he played in Back to the Future.
What?
Yeah.
It's been lost or apparently lost since the early 2000s.
Or it's a stunt that's saying we can't find that one, but we're going to release a limited edition of...
Well, they actually are. They actually are. So
It comes with a photograph that you see it,
fading.
now you don't.
Well, it could have been that something in the time-space continuum got because of the movie.
Yes.
And maybe that guitar just kind of faded away.
Maybe
it was
did.
never made.
Maybe it wasn't.
Fun fact. A fun fact. So that movie was supposed to take place in 1955.
Yeah.
Or the flashback
But
was
that wasn't
1955. But the ES-345 didn't come out until 1958.
Yeah.
So and it was a 60 or 61 that he was playing in the movie. So details.
And all the guys with the big cigars are like, the kids will never know.
I like a red guitar.
The kids may not, but the silver-haired guitar guys definitely will.
That's incorrect.
Yeah, the geeks know.
Exactly. Hey, Jack, was that a popular movie in the UK?
Oh, massive. I would say it's a little bit... I was only born in 89, so I kind of rode the wave of it a little bit late. But yeah, for sure. The musical is on all the time at the Palace Theatre in Manchester.
Wow. It's always interesting to hear what sticks in other countries,
Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously huge here, but yeah. Well, hopefully they find that guitar.
Yeah. So there is going to be... Gibson is producing a documentary on the finding of the...
So they did find it?
I'm thinking if they've said they're going to do a documentary on finding it, they probably know where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that just might be a big assumption on my part, but...
Yeah.
How much do you think that thing is worth?
I don't know. I mean, it exchanged hands, apparently. Apparently, Norm sold it to someone, and then he wanted to buy it back. He offered him allegedly $1 million.
Jeez.
And I don't know. I mean, not that it's like, some famous.
It was a neat guitar. I mean, it's I wouldn't sneeze at having it, but
Yeah.
the provenance is like, I'd rather have the provenance from an actual like musician than like being seen in a movie personally. But
Yes.
yeah,
I agree.
but there's ties to Michael J. Fox, and that was a big movie for a lot of people in their
Yeah,
lifetime.
in their formative years.
Yes.
I want to know what happened to the Wayne's World Strat.
Oh.
You know, the
that's a
white
good question.
Strat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Squire released the Wayne's
I
World
had
I think
one of
Strat.
Jack
those.
has it.
I had one of those. I don't know where it is now, though.
I wish I had it because Wayne's World is one of my favorite things of all time.
Party on.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's an announcement.
Yeah, that is, I guess so, kind of.
Well, no. If you happen to see a 1960 or 61 red ES345 out there,
Yeah.
well,
Well, those the price of those will probably just go up just from this one going up.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, that does happen quite often, especially
mean-
like with cars and stuff. If some car goes on auction and it sells for like $1 million, every other one that's like that goes up in price.
Yeah.
Period.
a rising tide.
The rising tide lifts all boats.
Thank you, Todd. What was your announcement?
Well, my announcement is that we just had the Monger pedals, and he's actually a cheesemonger. I always have to, qualify that because what does Monger pedals mean? But
And he's also a pedal monger.
he is also a pedal monger. We have the IPA overdrive, so we are going to be giving that away.
Ooh.
Yes. And
Does it come with a box of cheese curds?
No, but that would have been clever to, throw
Or
in
a
like
six-pack
cheese
of
wheel.
IPA.
Yeah, or a six-pack IPA, yeah. But here's the thing. That's going to...
It's selling out in Wisconsin.
That's going out to Enrico Fernando.
Enrico Fernando.
Yes, one of our grand poobahs.
Oh,
So,
wow. Congratulations.
yeah. So thank you for supporting our show. Enrico, this is going out to you. You will have already known that by the time you hear this.
Receive this.
Hear this.
Oh.
Because they'll probably get it after the podcast comes.
Oh.
But I'm sending it out before the podcast. Anyways, you know what I mean. Anyways,
I'm really confused.
Let's find out what's
That's
going
one
on
of
in
those.
our music world this week. We'll start with Tony, and then we're going to check in with Jack.
Well, this past week, I received my copy of Collecting Loud History. This is the Book of Marshall, the Bible of Marshall, by Peter Margolis and Brian Ranks.
Yeah.
We had them on our show not too terribly long ago.
Yep.
And this book, honest to God, it is, first of all, it's the most expensive book that I've ever bought.
It's probably the most expensive guitar book ever made.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is
I'd be willing to bet.
absolutely beautiful. The photography is great. They literally took all of these amps apart so that you can see the chassis, what the boards look like. It's like, every Marshall that you would ever want to lay eyes upon is in this book.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was an expensive book, but it was well worth the money.
That's
because-
episode 410, by the way, everybody.
410.
You can hear all about this book.
Yeah.
That's a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah. So
I doubt that anybody will ever make one again that robust
no, I'm like
for anything guitar related.
they, as they said on the show that they're basically breaking even just to get this book out there.
Yeah.
And it's a limited number of copies and such.
Yeah,
But
so you can still get yours.
yeah,
Go to
they're still available.
Making Loud History,
Collecting
Loud History. That's what I meant. Yes, Jack. We know that you have an awful lot going on in your music world. How about a little tidbit?
Well, we're in the middle of a tour, which is what you came to.
Yes.
So, although it was last week when we were in Columbus, it feels like a lifetime for me already, as we are now in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh,
Beautiful area.
they just had they're recovering from the flood that they had there.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
It was funny because when we were supposed to announce the tour that week, and the agent was like, "Well, we can't really announce a show in Asheville given what's happened. So can you send me a new can you send me a new version of the tour poster? Like, have your designer do it without Asheville on it, and we'll add that later when everything's calmed down a bit. So I said, yeah, no problem, and I sent it. And then what they decided to do was push the whole thing back and announce it all together. So there were 2 different versions of this poster going around.
Wow.
And when our merch company made it, they used the wrong one and left Asheville off. So I first apologized to Asheville for not having any posters for sale last night.
Oh no.
My heart was in the right place.
Yeah. No, but it was. I had a chance to visit there before the flood and went to the Biltmore and all. Just toured around the downtown, and it was just a lovely place.
Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. We were in Chapel Hill, near the big uni, the show before this one, and then last night we played at the Orange Peel here, I think for our 3rd or 4th time, and I really like North Carolina. It's one of those places where I come through and I feel like I could live here. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it just seems cool.
That's why it keeps growing, because a lot of people think the same thing.
Yeah.
We have the Peter Hook and the Light poster right above Tony's head.
Yeah, we've not been able to do it everywhere, which some people are yelling at me about. But we managed to get them for most shows, so I'm hopeful that on the next tour we'll have them everywhere.
That's cool.
Nice.
Oh, good. Yes, you're already talking about a next tour. That's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's happening.
Excellent. Well, we'll get into that, talking about all the tour and everything. Billy, about yourself.
I have a lot going on. Shows coming up and shows we've been rehearsing for. But the funny one was last weekend in Cleveland. My surf band was playing for a luau at the clubhouse on the 18th green at the Westwood Country Club. And guess
Heavens,
what? We
Lovey.
played one set and got rained out.
Oh, no.
But it was a scene right out of a movie, It's just one of those comical things,
Yeah.
So it reminded me of things like Muscle Beach
Like
Party,
Caddyshack or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where Link Ray is up there, playing on a band, and meanwhile saxophones and keyboards are playing, and he's just standing there with the guitar, miming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it was fun.
What about you, Todd?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't get to announce this.
Speaking to the microphone.
I don't get to announce this all the time, but it's NGD for Toddy today.
New guitar day.
Oh.
Yes, sir. I got myself. Speaking of Eastwood,
What?
I got a black side jack.
Ooh.
With so the side jack model
Oh.
is based on the old
Mosrite.
but it's not the little body like the
Yeah, like Univox.
like the Univox one. It's a big body.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got a
Nice.
Duesenberg trim on it, and I absolutely dig it so much. It's so cool looking.
Did it come with Duesenberg trim?
It was optional.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, those guitars are so stupidly nice for how stupidly affordable they are.
That's nice.
I mean,
That's the 12th fret.
it's good stuff. All it needs is a gold pickguard, Tony, so I'm going to send that home with you.
Right on.
Yeah. So it's a P90, so it's got a P90 in the bridge and then the tilted P90, so the neck is cut on an angle as well to match the P90. And it's just really great fit and finish. It showed up very well set up. I had to do minimal work to just tighten a few little areas up, but I was really impressed at how it came, and I'm excited to have it. I needed a P90, for
Demos.
I think it's good for fuzz and for demoing stuff, and this was the ticket.
So gold sparkle on that one?
That's correct, sir.
He's predictable, if nothing else.
If nothing else, I'm predictable. But the only thing that is extra on this, let me zip this up real quick. Hang on.
Zip.
Ooh,
Oh, yes. Hello.
that came through loud and
Yes.
clear.
Super excited about that. Thank you so much, Eastwood. They did us right. John actually picked up a Amanda, the tiny little Telecaster mandolin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he also picked up a side jack with a humbucker and a P90.
And it's a baritone, right?
No, it's
No? Oh,
standard.
it's just
Yeah.
Standard. Okay.
Oh wait, no, it is a baritone. My
Yeah,
bad.
it's a baritone.
Yeah, it's a baritone.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah. So
One of my best friends bought it for me.
yeah. Anyways, so the interesting thing is, Jack, that we're having Eastwood on tomorrow. So we're doing back to back. So tomorrow would be next week for everybody else. But Eastwood's coming back on the show, and we're going to talk about the Hooky series and the guitars that we just picked up. Yeah. So, speaking of guitars, what is good that goes with guitars? Pedals. And like the one that we're going to give away. And you know what is good for pedals?
What?
Tour Gear designs patch cables.
Oh.
They're the best. They stitch them all together. Everything works out great. They're affordable. They're durable. They get to you lickety split. And we've got a great deal for you. You're going to load up your cart.
Load it up.
You're going to put them all in there. You're going to hit purchase. But don't worry. That is the magic button to give you the coupon code. At which point you're going to put in, the box for the code. At which point you're going to put in the guitar knobs, all one word, and you're going to save, Tony, how much?
I believe it's 15%.
15% until they start yelling at me. All right. Thank you so much for Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the Floor. All right. Jack Bates of massive bass famedom in the touring band world. What is your 4 on the Floor?
So I think when I was on here last time, I was talking about vintage Electro-Harmonix clone theory chorus pedals, which is basically the sound of my dad's bands. That's been the pedal that he's used since the late 70s. And we've always been struggling to find something more modern, more durable, something a bit more tour-worthy that sound as good as them, and I've never been able to do it until now, where I am using a chorus pedal called New Division, which is by an Australian company called Past FX, PASTFX, and it's brilliant. So that would be the first one.
And that is modeled off of the original clone theory, right, Jack?
Yes, it is. I think the lady in Brisbane, Australia that makes them actually she got hold of some of the actual chips that are in the old ones.
Wow.
And puts them in these new pedals. And it's definitely the closest we've ever found. And so just due to the other ones being so big, taking up so much space on the board, they require their own cable for plugging in. They're just noisy. They break. The TSA love throwing our bags around and breaking them. So it was great to finally find something a lot smaller and also more modern and durable for this tour. So this is the first tour where I'm using that as my main chorus pedal. And none of the purists have noticed, which is probably the best endorsement that you can get for that pedal.
Now, that name, the New Division, you mentioned your quote unquote your dad. That doesn't mean he's not actually your dad, but he's also one of the most famous bass players of all time. Tell us who he is, who he plays for, and what that pedal is referencing.
So he is Peter Hook. He is the bass player, Joy Divisionand New Order, and other acts as well, side projects such as Monaco and Revenge that people might remember from the 90s. And he has a very distinctive bass tone, which is all based on a chorus pedal. And he still uses those massive vintage Electro-Harmonix clone theory pedals that break all the time. And I was getting a bit too frustrated by mine breaking all the time, so I went on the hunt for one that was newer, and that's the one that I settled on, this Australian one. The lady very kindly sent me a demo, and then I've bought, I think, another 4 since then. They're very affordable as well as being great, which is very nice. You got to pay big shipping though from Australia.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like a whole other continent. Anyway, anyways, okay. How about number 2?
Number 2 would probably be, I've been using a distortion pedal by Poison Noises called the Crook. Do you know that one?
No, I'm gonna look it up right now.
I think I follow Poison Noises on Instagram, and I think they've recently stopped making pedals, unless I'm getting confused with somebody else. But I still see, I was still seeing this pedal in my rehearsal space with my dad's band, and I was thinking it would be great for this tour. So I brought that one out specifically for a few songs on this tour that need a kind of beefy distortion pedal.
Interesting.
So that would be one that I would recommend to people if you can get them anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, it says that they are out of stock, so you're gonna have to find that. Not familiar with Poison Noises. This is an interesting one. We'll have to dig into that and find more out about it. People that are listening, if you have one of those, let us know. Let us know if you like it, okay? All right, number 3.
I've got a few of those Poison Noises pedals, and they all have got quite interesting names. I can't remember. I've got I had a crazy kind of... I can't remember. I've got a couple of them, and the Crook is a brilliant distortion, so I use that on this current tour with the new chorus pedal, and it's all working out pretty good. But I was recently on Instagram, and I saw the guy posted a video of why I'm stopping making pedals. I think that was them. So it's probably a useless recommendation to put on it because nobody can go and get it.
Now, what about that? There are a couple on here on Reverb. They're about $120, $150, something like that. Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of them. Glut Cheeks, the Seesaw.
Yeah, they've all got stupid names. I think that's what drew me to them.
Yeah. And Tape O Neg. That's clever. So what is it about the Crook that you like so much out of all the other distortion / overdrive pedals that are out there?
I just like that you don't lose the bottom end, because a lot of the times with putting distortion on a bass, you get that kind of cool fuzz sound, but then you lose your bass. And what I like about that one is that my bass still sounds pretty meaty, even when it's distorted as it is. So that's what made me choose that one for this tour, because we're playing a few different songs on this tour, as you saw, and so it's been great for that as we take on different songs to find the right pedal, and so far so good.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because sitting on the table, or just did a demo for it, is this pedal called the Bomber by M2 Labs. They were on the show. Tony, can you tell me when they were on? I want to say it was I can't remember. 410 maybe? I'm not sure. Anyways, this has a ton of bottom end on it. Cool. To the point where I thought, okay, if you're a Strat guy on a Fender, this is gonna give you that bottom end. But if you go in with a humbucker, it's almost it's potentially too much bottom end. But this thing is pretty sweet, and we'll talk after the show.
And this was episode number 405 from February of this year.
Yeah, he's in Nashville, I believe. I think around there.
He's from Georgia.
Or Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay, by Georgia I meant Nashville. By Nashville I meant Georgia. Anyways, that if you run into these, or if you're interested, check out the Bomber Overdrive from M2 Labs. That is something that would definitely do the trick as well. Okay, how about number 3?
Number 3 would probably be, and I probably mentioned this last time purely because I use it so much, the bass Soul Food by Electro Harmonics.
Well,
I use that a lot. That kind of whenever a lot of the songs that I'm playing, they don't all have the chorus pedal on. So whenever I've not got the chorus pedal on, I've always got the bass soul food on, and it just feels like as close as I can get to my dad's kind of early Joy Division sound before he got his chorus pedal.
Interesting.
And just to give everything a little bit of boost, a small, tiny bit of distortion. Because his equipment back then was terrible, so there was natural distortion just through it being rubbish. So obviously, trying to recreate that as best I can without it also sounding terrible led me to that. So that is probably my third most used pedal at the moment.
Awesome. Okay,
Number 4.
number 4.
Number 4 is a tough one. I like analog delays, because I like to be able to mess with them during the show and make stupid noises during a few songs. So I actually have a Joyo pedal that the guy gave us for free just to try out. And I didn't know anything about the company or the guy or anything about the pedal. I just thought, okay, I could take a new analog delay, and it's been on my pedal board ever since.
Yeah.
It's just very small, very compact, lightweight, which is super important for the way we're touring. It's all we're on Southwest Airlines the whole tour, so
wow.
weight is important.
Yeah.
And you're playing with
And
the
then,
Yamaha
so-
that has the flipped P bass pickup, right?
Yeah, it's the Yamaha Peter Hook signature
Yeah,
bass
okay.
is my. Yeah, that's my main 4-string, and then I'm playing a Shergold Marathon 6-string, which is a vintage instrument from the late 70s.
Well, that's interesting because you have that with that little bit of extra treble on that low E string. Mm-hmm. You can utilize those pedals that, like you said, have an old style sound, but yet be precise and, I guess, modern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So those 4 pedals are probably the main pedals for the current tour that we're on. There isn't a moment in the show where I'm not using one of them, and we're on stage for almost 3 hours, so they get hammered a lot.
That was a
They're very
long show.
durable, crucially very lightweight.
It is a delightfully
long
long
show.
show. But it's impressive you guys.
We got a lot of bases to cover.
Yeah. Literally a lot of bases to cover. So, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for sharing your 4 on the floor with some cool updates. And I'm delighted to talk to you again. We had, as mentioned, everybody, we got to go see Peter Hook and the Light, featuring Peter Hook and Jack Bates, father and son, which is, for fans of the music, it is actually a real treat. Maybe not as much as it is for you two, but it is for us.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you.
I was side stage for a little bit, and I was, just capturing some video, and I'm a dad, and I saw how he was looking at you a little bit, and I was like, man, that's really cool. What an incredible opportunity to play the music you love with, your son, and, vice versa, for your dad. So, Jack, we wanted to talk to you about, first of all, you have this fantastic show, and I encourage everybody, please do what you can to go see Peter Hook and the Light out live. What a fantastic show. And as Jack just mentioned, they're playing for almost 3 hours. And it's not 3 hours of obscure things. It's for people that grew up, especially in the 80s and 90s, this is like core music. It was inescapable in the best way. And so loads of stuff from New Order, loads of stuff from Joy Division, and by the guy who laid down the bass for both bands and crafter of many of the songs, and to be able to get that infused for that long is like, it really takes you to places, and let yourself be there. Let yourself just kind of soak it in. That's what I'm instructing you to do. Billy, thoughts on that?
It was a cool show because I was a big fan of that music of all different, artists, and I had just always assumed that chinga chang 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 sound was a guitar, and I didn't realize it was a bass. And then when I'm standing there seeing two bass players playing, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I was telling my buddy up in Cleveland about it, who's a professional bass player, and he told me, he was like, yeah, Peter Hook was the guy who, when I heard him, I realized that I could play chords on the bass. And, so my friend's
and
career
use the high
took
strings
off.
effectively, too.
Yeah. My friend's career took off because he started monkeying around on chords and high strings and, doing the whole deal. So, it was a cool show to bring back old memories and fuse them with new things, and it's like mind opening. So thank you, Jack.
And for so many people out there that weren't around, I certainly didn't get to see Joy Division live back in the day, but when you're standing there and you're hearing it live by the cat that made it, it's like, this is really special. This is super duper special. So you guys are doing a great service to all of us fans out there, and we truly, truly appreciate it. Please pass that on to your dad.
No, I will do. Thank you. Yeah, we're in a really good. We feel like we're in a really good moment on this tour. Obviously, so we started 15 years ago, and his goal is to play all of his music. So we start, which was Unknown Pleasures, Joy Division, and then we've gone through the whole back catalog, and 12 albums later, we're currently touring Get Ready, which is New Order's album from 2001, I believe. So it's nearly 25 years old.
It's so good.
Quite an overlooked album by New Order. There's a lot of great songs that they just never played, or more accurately, the rest of the band wouldn't play.
Yeah.
So he's quite happy to finally be able to tick them all off in his quest to play all of his music. So when we were putting this tour together, obviously the album set is only an hour, the first hour. And then we were thinking, well, I guess we just take a little break and then we'll just come out and play whatever we want for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing at the moment. And it's impossible to please everybody. I've just been arguing with some bloke online who was slagging us off for not Atmosphere last night, even though we played a whole bunch of other songs. It still wasn't enough for him. So we are struggling to please everybody. But these bands have a lot of big songs, and for every person's favorite that you do play, you have to leave out somebody else's favorite. So we're trying to mix our stuff up as best we can as we go on. I think we've played about 60 unique songs on this tour so far. So no two shows have been the same, and we're working hard to try and cover a bit of everything in every show. And so far so good.
I was really thrilled that you were playing this album out, because this is actually one of my favorites, if not maybe my favorite New Order album. It's, and you're right. I think it is wildly overlooked. I was very, very excited to hear my favorite song from New Order, which is "Thieves Like Us." I was looking around for Billy. I'm like, that's my favorite song. And Billy was like, "Hey man, okay."
Oh, nice. And see, I didn't even know that, and I put it in subconsciously.
Yep, it's grand. I have the instrumental version of that as well at home. Yeah, it's so good. And for those that don't know, like, what Thieves Like Us, maybe you don't know what that famously used in the dressmaking scene in Pretty in Pink.
That's correct, yeah.
So good. Yeah, it's a little bit of trivia there for you, everybody.
I think they had another song in that film as well called Shell Shock.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Americans asked for that one, but we don't really enjoy playing it, so we haven't played it for a long time, but maybe we'll have to dust that off at some point.
Yeah. That one was used for a lot of transitions in the movie too. There was a lot of scenes when like tension was happening with the guitar parts, because it's very tensiony. Anyways, in the film and music podcast, we'll get moving.
Yes, Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Pretty in Pink.
Hey, remember Pretty in Pink? Wasn't that cool? So, Jack, let's talk about let's talk about the gear that you're using and how that is different from what you're doing with Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, so I do actually use the same 4-string bass for both bands. I have a Peter Hook signature Yamaha for playing with him, and then I have a couple more in my Pumpkins gear. So I do kind of play the similar instruments, but the main difference is that with the Pumpkins I don't use any pedals. And with my dad, obviously, I use quite a lot. So yeah, that's the main difference. And also with my dad, I'm playing a 6-string bass, which is also critical for playing a lot of his material, which is probably the thing that pisses me off the most about the current incarnation of New Order, is that guy doesn't have a 6-string, but tries to play the songs still. And it's like, that's not right. I don't know how people are. I don't know how it's only me that notices that. I don't know. It's just strange, but it's such a crucial part of the sound that we couldn't do a tour without those 6 strings.
Wow, I think few people would actually know that. Like, because now originally he was using a Rickenbacker first, right?
Well, it was a really cheap Rickenbacker copy. It was actually a Hondo.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that would have been a 4-string, right?
Yeah, so his early 4-string, it wasn't even a Rickenbacker. It was a cheap copy. It was actually a Hondo Rickenbacker copy that he was using in the early days of Joy Division. And then on the second guitar player that urged him to get one. And then, like you said before, that opened up a lot more doors in terms of chords and playing higher up the neck, which is what he became very famous for. And a lot of his songs can't be played on 4-string basses. You need a 6-string. Stuff like Dreams Never End that we've been playing on this tour, which is the first song from the first New Order album. And if you try and play those on a 4-string, it just doesn't sound right. So we have to tour with these old Shergold Marathon 6 strings from the 70s.
Was that a big learning curve for you to go from, mastering being a master of the 4-string into, wait, now I got 6 strings?
Yeah, a little bit. I was a little bit scared of it at first, but I'm a lot more au fait with it now.
Excellent. And you're playing, are you playing finger or pick?
Usually with my dad, everything is with a pick, but a lot of the Get Ready songs, I'm actually playing with my fingers. It's kind of a lot of those songs have 2 bass parts. So my dad will be playing, the high melody part that kind of drives the song. And then there's always this kind of subby bass underneath. The best way I can recreate that is by playing with my fingers. So I'm actually playing with my fingers more than ever at the moment. It's cool. It's different.
Well, that's something that I was paying attention to on just kind of like refamiliarizing myself with a lot of the older stuff leading up to the show, because the signature sound that everybody's so familiar with is very singular. But at the same time, you're hearing, a real, a solid bass line in the background. And I'm assuming that everything, he was doing 2 tracks on for a lot of that stuff. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, when he was touring with New Order, a lot of the lower end bass would be on tracks and he would be playing over it. So that's the great thing about having the 2 bass players now, is that we can do everything live.
Yeah. Was that tricky to figure out, like who's playing what parts and all that stuff?
Sometimes, yeah, because obviously with him singing as well, we have to figure it out as we go and then sort of settle on something after a few rehearsals. But I mean, obviously the brief in this gig is that he plays all the cool stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. He's
You know
a
what I
great
mean?
singer
So
too. He's a
all the
really good
solos-
front man.
Yeah, no, he's improved so much over the last 15 years. I mean, he was so nervous doing it because he was never a singer, and now he's very comfortable with it, which is nice. But yeah, most of the big intros and solos I have to let him do.
I don't know. Jack, I heard you playing some pretty cool bass lines, so I don't know. You're
He has some
understating
big
yourself.
spotlight moments, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You just mentioned he was nervous because he isn't really a singer, but neither was Ian or Bernard. So,
That is true. Yeah.
Well, I
that's what made it
remember
so
saying
interesting.
I remember saying to Todd, I was like, he has like 3 different voices. And Todd's like, well, yeah, he's like covering 3 different amazing singers, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing a really good job. He's come a long way, and we're, like I said, we're in a good moment. We're everyone's happy and everyone's enjoying the set that we're playing at the moment. It's sort of time, and as great as that set is, we were all getting a little bit bored of it. So it's nice to be able to do this Get Ready tour that has this second part where we can just play whatever we want to keep it interesting for us and also for you.
Yeah. Well, and to Get Ready is so much more rock like oriented, I think, than a lot of the other ones. So it lends itself to a live guitar show for sure.
Yeah, it does. The tour that he did, the last kind of album tour he did before this one was Technique and Republic. He did those 2 albums together, and they're a lot more electronic.
Yeah.
And so we had to work really hard to make that work for us. Whereas Get Ready lent itself to us really easily, and it's been great so far. I mean, we've only done it about 10 times still at the moment, and we're going to be doing it all next year, I guess, as well. So by the time you see
Please
us
come
next time,
Please come
maybe
back.
it'll be even better. Yeah, it was mad that it took us 15 years to play Columbus. I don't get that.
Yeah, neither do we, but we're glad. But we're glad you did. I had one other thing to throw out there is that, you know, a lot of times when bands are playing, you know, they're going like, hey, we're going to go back and do a full album. And you've experienced this with the Smashing Pumpkins too. But when that's happening, the audience is hearing it probably for the first time live in a long time. But obviously, if you're on tour, you're doing that night after night after night after doing it night after night after night previously on tour. And the clear joy and enthusiasm that he and the rest of the band, yourself included, were showing during those songs, it was like in a small place. That's so magnetic, and the crowd was like absolutely responding to it. It was just great seeing the back and forth and seeing you guys so into it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the crowd in Columbus were brilliant. Certain songs went down better there than they have in anywhere else, which was interesting. And that venue was great, an old converted church. It was a spiritual evening.
It was a perfect backdrop for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
those stained glass windows.
Aside from this current thing you're doing, there's always something going on with Smashing Pumpkins. Where are you at with that right now?
So we're gonna start up again at the end of July, and we have a 4 or 5 week tour of Europe, which is basically all the places we didn't get to last summer on the previous European tour. So that's gonna be cool. We're going to Scandinavia and going to a couple of places that I've never been to before, like Iceland and Bulgaria. It's gonna be cool. And then we have a 2 week break after that before we go to Asia and the Middle East. So we're busy. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good.
Globe trotting. That's super cool.
Yeah, man.
Let's see here. Now, for that, you have a new guitar player. Obviously, Jeff is no longer in the band, and I know that you guys were close, and Jeff's been a great friend of the show for a long time. How has that been working out for you?
It's been interesting. Yeah, it's to see someone else's perspective, someone fresh coming in, and she's lovely. We all get on really well with Kiki. She's really enthusiastic, great to be around, fun to hang out with, and she's been a really good pick, I think. Obviously, we wish Jeff all the best in everything that he goes on to do. He obviously felt like the time was right for him to take a step back and go and do other things that he wanted to accomplish. And we're all really happy for him to go and do that. And I didn't have anything to do with the guitar player search, which I was kind of happy about when I saw how many people applied. I think it was apparently 10,000. So I don't envy the management for poring over all those videos.
Right.
But I've got to say, I think they made the very wise choice with Kiki, because she's been great.
That's awesome. Well, and that's also interesting. It's you are sharing the right side of the stage with whoever they were going to pick. So I'm sure you had your fingers crossed, because that's a long time to be on the same side of the stage with somebody if you're not getting along.
Yeah, totally. No, it's worked out really well, I think, for everybody. So we're all very happy. Just similarly to my dad's band, we feel like we're in a good moment. Everyone's happy and enjoying the shows, and long may it continue.
For the pumpkin stuff, is that something that you're going to be redoing, like covering one of the older albums, or is it all new music?
So they put out a new album in August last year. So that's, not even a year ago. And the tour is being billed as the Agori tour for that album, Agori Mori May.
Right.
So I'm expecting to be learning a lot of new songs, but I have no set list info as of yet.
Wow.
So I'm as in the dark as you are, and I will wait to be informed.
Yeah.
I can give you no spoilers simply because I don't know any.
Now, your dad, last thing we'll cover, your dad has this awesome new bass. So his new bass that's out from Eastwood, it's in the Hooky series. It is a semi-hollow, large body, and it is awesome looking. Can you share any bits about that? Have you been playing one at all?
I have one, but I haven't toured with it as of yet. Just mainly because I don't think I look right with a hollow body. I think my dad looks cool with one. When I was playing, I was like, this is a cool guitar, but it just doesn't look right on me. So I leave the hollow bodies to him. But no, there was a guy called Chris Ecclesall in the UK who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and he built 3 basses for my dad during his time. 2 black ones, which he's sold actually.
Wow.
At auction, and a red one, which is the one that you saw the other week.
Yeah.
And although that bass is called Viking, it is not a Hagstrom Viking, as some people assume. It's just called Viking, but it was built by this guy Chris Ecclesall. So they put the electronics from the Yamaha BB 1200S, which is the active bass that he basically wrote every New Order album with, inside this custom hollow body, and it created this amazing bass sound. And he's brought that guitar back for this tour. He's actually not been playing it for a few years. He's been playing his signature Yamaha, and now he's gone back to his Ecclesall. And everyone always asks where they can get one, and the answer is you can't, because Chris Ecclesall unfortunately is no longer with us. So the great thing about Eastwood has been that they took that guitar and did the most accurate copy of it that was possible. It feels exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. It sounds exactly the same. Has been using it on tour. We played a UK show just before we came out to America, and he played his black Eastwood Viking at that show. So he loves them, and they're great. And people seem really happy with, like you said, you were happy with your Eastwood, the way it arrived, set up, and cool, and everyone seems to be thinking the same thing about these basses. So it's nice. He's gone from having no signature guitars before COVID to having about 6 now.
Yeah, well, and Eastwood has 2 of them. You got the solid body, the Bass 6 Pro too, or sorry, not the Bass 6 Pro, but the Hooky bass.
Yeah, the Bass 6 was their copy of the Shergold Marathon, which are also super rare and impossible to get. So they did a copy of that, and then now they've done a copy of the Ecclesall Viking Custom.
Yeah.
So now they're out there for people to get, and they do left-handed models too, which a lot of people were hoping for. Turns out I never knew he had so many left-handed bass player fans, but he does. So we made sure we do left-handed ones too. And as well as that, he's got his signature Yamaha BB. So like I said, he's gone from none to having a few now. So he's got a lot of options. It's nice.
Well, they are. I'm such a fan of the new semi-hollow. It is a gorgeous looking guitar. And
yeah, they did such a great job. They look exactly the same, active circuitry, and it sounds brilliant. So yeah, I would, if you're a fan of my dad's playing, this is a ringing endorsement. You should go check them out.
There you go. Well, guys, I think we should probably start to round third and head home. We do have a little something, Tony.
Yes.
Wait, are you sure we've covered all the bases?
Ha 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 ha! Well done, well done, Billy. I appreciate that of you. Yeah, we're gonna do a little thing called
Would you rather?
All right.
Yes, it's the game that everyone loves to play. This week's Would You Rather is brought to us by our good friend Bruce Bacon.
All right.
And he's entitling this Columbus Craigslist.
Okay.
Sounds kind of creepy. So you're walking down the street and poof, out of nowhere appears the ghost of Frank Zappa. Hello, my little six-string heathen. Have the tariffs of the industrial complex made it difficult for you to acquire creative tools? Uncle Frank has a way around that. I bestow $500 for you to be spent on Craigslist. Bartering cannot be taxed by those goblins in D.C. Buy something in Columbus, Ohio, and who knows who you will meet on your journey. So, two choices.
Okay.
This is from today's. Is this actually from today's Columbus Craigslist?
Well, not from today's. This was a couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
Yeah. Actual things.
Yes, actual things on Columbus, Ohio Craigslist. Would you rather have a Roland JC55 Jazz Chorus amp that has been that cosmetically is a little tattered around the edges, but works perfectly? It's made in the USA from the mid 80s to the mid 90s. And sports dual 8-inch speakers, 25 watts per side, because it's stereo and delivers that classic clean sound and chorus. Most importantly, it has two small custom painted multicolored sunflowers on it. One by the handle and another on the grill. Ooh.
Nice touch.
Nice touch. Or would you rather have a PRS Santana SE that's almost mint with no case? It's Korean made and the finish is transparent orange. The top wood definitely has some flame to it. This model has a set neck, two zebra-colored humbuckers, standard vibrato bar, volume tone three-way pickup switch, and of course the bird inlays on the rosewood fretboard. Unfortunately, Rob Thomas is not included.
Okay, and so wait, what was wrong with that one?
Rob Thomas is not included.
That's the problem with the
That's
guitar?
the problem with it. No case either.
No case.
No case, no Thomas.
No case, no Thomas. All right. So you got to hit the PRS one more time. What model was that?
It's a Santana SE.
Santana SE in red.
Orange.
Is that
Red
P90s?
orange-ish.
P90s or humbug?
Humbuckers.
Humbuckers, okay.
Humbuckers.
Or the jazz chorus.
Yes, a Roland Jazz chorus.
And
I have my answer.
That's the dual 8-inch speakers.
yes.
Okay, that's a weird. Would you rather?
It's
How much
weird.
is that, by the way?
Are they both? They're both.
They're
the
both
same price?
$500.
Both $500. That's the kicker.
There
okay,
it is.
Tony, go ahead.
I have hate relationship with a lot of PRS stuff. I like them initially. They're very nice guitars.
Yes.
The headstock has to go. It does not belong on that guitar. Sorry.
Yeah. Short headstocks I just don't get.
Well, the short pointy headstock.
Short and pointy is even
So in this case, I'm going with the jazz chorus.
Okay.
I've never had a jazz chorus amp before. So
Really?
No, I've never had one.
I can't believe that.
No. Well, believe it.
That is surprising because you've had just about everything.
But there's medicine for that.
Yes. All right. Jack, how about yourself? Which one are you doing? The PRS or the jazz chorus amp?
I would go with the PRS purely because I know that Kiki loves PRS, and I would give it to her.
That's sweet.
So I would
That's
go
sweet.
He's a big fan of PRS guitars for sure.
Okay. Let's see. Billy?
Yeah, I'm normally a guitar geek, but I've never had a Roland jazz chorus, just like Tony said. And my buddy Butch Armstrong up in Cleveland plays through one. And he plays the old school rock and roll, and it sounds amazing.
Interesting.
And so for the right band, they have a power trio, but, for the right band, it sounds wonderful, and I would love to have one.
Okay.
All right. Todd?
I'm going to go with the jazz chorus, too. I am just not... I'm going to go with the chorus. I'm just going to end it with that.
I think I've already said it all.
And I've never played a dual 8-inch amp ever, or a 10. I don't think. I don't think I've played a 10 or an 8.
Sure you have.
No.
No?
Yeah, you'd think so, huh, Tony?
You got to live a little.
Yeah. Anyways, well, thank you, Bruce Bacon, for sending that. That was a good one, and $500 well spent by all of us.
Yes.
Tony?
Yes, Todd?
I think we need to thank a few people.
That's right, because at this point of the show...
A lot of people.
There's a lot of people here.
Yes.
But we thank them wholeheartedly.
Yes.
These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate and become a sponsor, a friend, a hero, if you will, of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win great giveaways, just like this pedal we're going to give away. But in addition to that, there is one thing more. What would that be?
You get to have it. Wait, Billy, you do it. You get to have your name read on the thing, Billy.
Do you get your name read on the thing?
No, Billy. Listen to what I just said. You get to have your name read on the thing.
Oh. You get to...
The ghost of Jared.
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Yes.
That's right.
You did it, Billy. Good job.
Good job, Billy.
Okay, go ahead.
That's right. You get your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers: Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pampas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Elad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Rebuzzer Effects, John Sebastian, John Halverson, Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport, Owen Eads, Plutone, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Barazin, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, and Vader and Pedals. Yeah, that's right, Todd. There's more. Thanks for not interrupting.
Tony, is there more?
There's more, because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones. And each one lives in a special area, orange, if you will, surrounded by orange pools of orange Gatorade. It's a wonderful place in the penthouse, you see. So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs: Anthony Jamalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robinson, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Mike Nazionale, Moon Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups, Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs, and Ty Barnes, Columbus's own Ty Barnes.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We truly cannot do this without you, and we are so grateful for all of you who support this endeavor. We love making this content for you. That sounds cheap when you say like, "Oh, we're making content." No, we love doing this.
Yes,
the podcast, talking about this stuff, learning things with you, not telling them at you.
Yeah,
we're not into that mess. But we're glad that you. We feel that you are along this table with us. There's a seat here for you. That we should put that on a T-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me a marker. I'll do it.
There's a seat here for you.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we need to say a massive thank you to our friend Jack Bates of Smashing Pumpkins and Peter Hook and the Light fame, and surely much more fame to come in. And all the bands are going to say, we need to get our hands on this guy.
He could play a 6-string bass.
Yeah, 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, thanks so much. And we also look at, boy, honestly, I really hope you come back to Ohio, wherever that may be. We will go see you for sure. In either band or either.
Nice one.
Yes. Where can people find out about where to go get the information and tickets and shows and stuff for Peter Hook and the Light?
So if you just search us on any social media, it's me that runs them all. We're on them all. Or you can go to peterhookandthelight.live, which is where all the tour dates are. We only have a week left on this one in the States. So we're going to be in St. Louis next, Atlanta, New Orleans, and then we finish up with 3 in Florida. And we're doing Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. And that'll be it for this year. But the plans are already in motion for coming back next year. I don't know when that will be or where it will be, but we will see. Like you were saying about Columbus, the whole point of this tour was trying to get to some places that we don't always get to or haven't gone to ever. So it's been great to do that this time. And although people were really frustrated, why no Boston? Why no Los Angeles? Why no San Francisco? We're trying to, treat some other people this time. And we'll be back to all those places in the future. So
yeah,
you can keep up with us anywhere. And hopefully the news will be out soon about next year.
Awesome. Now, how about merch and stuff? I could have swore I saw something about some of the being able to get some of the posters that from the shows. Am I mistaken in that?
So yeah, we've been doing special prints at most shows, and then after the tour, whatever's left over will go online. There might not be that many because they're super limited, so it's literally just whatever didn't sell at the gigs. But if people keep up with us on socials, we'll
well, and you might get recruited to do a bunch of like corporate social work too, from other companies if you stay good at the social. So maybe slow that down a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Good, man.
Wait, I've got to prepare for my life after touring. So if you ever need me to run your social media for your insurance company or something else boring, and I've got a good resume.
Let's hope it doesn't get to that. Okay.
I'm really good at arguing with people about what songs weren't played the night before.
Excellent.
Tony, where can people find the things that you do?
Go to pickguardian.com, check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make pick guards for guitars. How do you get one?
You're going to make a pick guard for my guitar.
I am.
This is going to be awesome.
It's going to
He
be.
made a pick guard for my guitar last week.
Yeah.
Yes. I tell you, between you guys, I don't have to advertise at all.
He can retire now.
I can retire. PickGuardian.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you're trying to do. I'll make a guard just for you.
Yeah.
It's your opportunity to make your guitar.
You got a piece of linoleum from your childhood home? Bring it in. Tony will make a pick guard out of it.
I may not make a pick guard.
Okay, Billy, about yourself.
I do have a new Facebook account. We'll see how long it stays up.
Okay.
It's called William Whitmire.
Okay.
That rhymes with Billy Spitfire.
Yeah. All right. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. We would love to hear your thoughts. Tell us what you think about this show. Tell us what kind of guitars and stuff you like. Tell us, I don't know, what you had for breakfast. We don't care. We just want to connect, people.
Tell us in these last few days when you go see Peter Hook and the Light, what you thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy that you joined us. We're glad that you're out there, and we hope you have a fantastic guitar week. Subscribe!
She's lost control again.
Yeah, where are you at, Billy?
They played in Pittsburgh night before last or something.
Was it? I thought they were in South Carolina.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
North
South
Carolina, sorry.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, North Carolina. That's right. Yes.
Oh, wow. He played, originally he played, it was either an Ibanez Rickenbacker copy.
Let's get on with, I don't know let's get on with
Fluffer and Fluckatash.
That's no way to treat a lady. I don't know. I don't think he ever said that. Tony, where can people find the things that you do?
Head over to PickGuardian.
That's right. Billy, where can people... No.
Card. Nope.
I have you turned up.
You sure?
Probably this thing.
Oh, wait, just kidding.
Whoop, whoop. There we go. Hey, now I can hear me.
Whoop, whoop. It's the sound of the beat. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police.
Okay.
You're in the hills, aren't you, Jack?
It's before. It's western.
I am in the hills on a probably rubbish internet hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You can shoot me a DM at Instagram at the... Sorry.
Did you say BM?
What?
Did you say shoot me a BM?
DM. What's a BM?
Bowel movement.
Shoot me a bowel movement? I definitely did not say that. But you seem to
It's how
happy
worms
about
communicate.
that. I can arrange that. And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.